Welcome. My name is Diane, and today I'm going to talk about how to survive a loss of a child, either it's a daughter or a son. This is a very special and difficult subject, but I feel the need to talk about it. First of all, I lost a son 3 years ago, and right now there's a lot of people in need, and to talk about this topic. There's many things that I want to talk about, and first of all, I want to thank my doctor. He's the one who owns this channel, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk to you. Okay, so thank you very much. I can't not forget that. And he believes in me. So I did a Spanish version last week, and right now there was a lot of people who sent me messages and asked me if I could do an English version. So this is what I'm going to do right now. And I just want to say this is a difficult subject, like I said before, because there's a lot of parents right now who are facing the loss of their child, especially now in the holidays. Okay, there's special days that it's very difficult when you gather around the table and you notice that there's a seat which is missing in that table. Well, it's a very difficult time, and I want to help you heal. I know you can't heal completely. It's very difficult, but yes, you can reclaim your life again, and that's what I want to do. That's the purpose of this video. So we have to go through different stages of a grieving process, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But first of all, I like to start with something very positive, and it says right now, it's a poem that I found in the internet. It says, "Son, it's sometimes hard to know why some things happen as they do. For so much joy and happiness was centered around you. It seems so hard to comprehend that you're not longer here, but all the happy memories will help to keep you near. You're thought about with pride, my son, with each mention of your name. Death cannot change a single thing. The love will still remain." And there's another one I have right here. "I only wish I could go back in time to see you again, to hug and never let you go. I understand that it was your time. That's how he wanted it, but I never thought that it would hurt so much." Grief is a mixture of many emotions. It is very stressful. Loss can be predictable, probably like a sickness, or just without warning, just like in my case. My son died in an accident, which further of this video, I'm going to tell you what happened. And of course, it can change your lives forever. It has, we all experience an array of physical emotion and spiritual sensations known as grief. Grief is a deep sorrow that is caused by someone's death. You may feel a variety of emotions. It's deep sadness and loneliness. But everyone, remember, grieves differently, okay? Sometimes we can grieve like a short time. Others is going to take quite longer. So it produces an imbalance of your life. If you were probably having you can't focus anymore, and you feel totally lost. These emotions are the things that I felt. So I'm going to tell you about my story. My story is I had a son. He was born on the 20th of May in 1981. And my beloved son's name is Juan Diego. He was an on-air personality and in a radio broadcasting system. He worked in various radio stations such as Fidelity and Stereo Tempo. When Diego he had an outstanding voice. He was like a baritone sort of voice, and he had that deep voice since he was a child, I guess, since he was about 10 or 12 years old. And I knew that someday probably he could use that voice. And as soon as he was growing and getting older, his voice was deepened a bit more. When my son was in high school, he had a part-time job in a radio station. And there they noticed he had this outstanding voice. And so when he graduated from high school, he continued to work in that radio station. But then he also went to study. He in the university, that's Inter-American University. And there he wanted to study music. Since he learned to play the guitar when he was about 14 years old, he wanted to continue studies in music and he wanted to play different instruments. And also he took courses in singing lessons. So after he graduated, he also loved to write music and to create melodies for his songs. He was sort of like a songwriter, I guess. And I found a notebook with different written songs after he passed away, and little bits of papers with scribbles of songs. And I still haven't put them together, so that's going to be a job that I'll be doing in the future when I feel strong enough to do that. So a couple of years later, after he graduated from the university, he told me, Mom, I want to go to Winter Park, Florida, and I want to pursue another career in a degree as a recording engineer. So he did that. I always liked to help him out in whatever he wanted to do. And he was a person who couldn't be still. He always had his mind full of energy, and he just wanted to do different things at the same time. So then after he finished as a recording engineer, he came back and he went to work in the same radio station. This time, he learned how to make commercials, and they were recorded in his in the radio station. And also there was a couple of those commercials on TV. I was his biggest fan. I just loved to watch him and to see all those commercials and to listen to his wonderful and outstanding voice. My son was a restless soul, and there was so many things that he wanted to do. I remember that in January 2016, when he was in Florida living, because he decided to go back, and he told me, Mom, I want to go back again. And this time he wanted to be a realtor. So he went back, but this time he went to live in Orlando, and he went to study as a realtor. And he just loved it so much that he stayed to live there. So that was about 2015. I can recall that. But I remember that on January, I used to go back and forth and visit him. I just remember that now. But I remember also that in January 2018, he came to visit us. And he came to visit Mom and family members of his family from his father's side. Little did I know this would be the last time that I'd ever see my son alive. I remember that he spent 6 days with us. It was 6 days full of a lot of love, and I know that I noticed a different change in him. He was always hugging and kissing me and telling me all the things that he wanted to do in the future. And I was just so overwhelmed with happiness, just watching him and listening to all the things that he had planned for him in the future. Then I remember that I was planning to go in June because he wanted me after my retirement, which was in that same year, in 2016. And I remember I bought this plane ticket to go in June. But little did I know that that plane ticket was not to see him alive. I remember that I went to see my mother. That was in March, the 26th. That was Holy Week. And Mom she's a very Catholic person. And, well, I just went to visit her. And I remember that on Wednesday, March 28th, that was the last time I spoke to him on the phone. And he was telling me that he had some houses that he sold, that he was very excited about it. And after that was the last time I heard him, and the last time I heard his voice ever. And I remember on Thursday evening to Friday, that was like a midnight of, I think it's about 12:18 midnight, going on the next Friday, Good Friday. I remember I was lying on my bed and I was watching TV, and all of a sudden on my left side, I felt this searing pain cutting in that part of my body. And I just remembered I screamed, and I just put my hand and says, oh my God, what's this terrible pain? And also felt like chest pains and a terrible headache. And I could not explain why I was feeling that way, because I didn't do anything. I didn't fall. I didn't remember any accident whatsoever. All I know that this pain continued that whole weekend, and already was Friday. And on Saturday, my husband told me, Diane, you can't continue this way. I'm going to take you to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, the doctors at the emergency ward asked if I fell, if I did any movement, and I just told them that I didn't. So after the x-rays and all the injections to heal the pain, well, my daughter called me after I got out of the hospital. My daughter called me on the phone, and she said, Mom, I got to inform you that Junito's missing. And I said, what do you mean he's missing? He says, Mom, all his coworkers are looking for him. I've been trying to call you, but I just couldn't find you. And everybody's going crazy. Nobody can find him. He says, what do you mean? Well, he didn't go to work. He just went to work on Thursday afternoon. But then that's it. Nobody knows about him. And I know my son. My son is not a person. He's a very responsible person at that time. And he was never absent from his job. No matter if he had a cold or whatever, he was always there, punctual person. And that worried me a little. But since I was in pain, it was like, I wonder where he is. And I remember I received a couple of calls from family members. Everybody is still worried about him. But there was this special call, and it was when I got home. At 8:30 p.m. that Saturday, this was on a Saturday now, the 31st. I remember my kid's stepmother called me, and she said, listen, I got to talk to Gilbert. Is he there? That's my husband. And I said, yeah, he's there. But what do you want to talk to him about? Did you know anything about Junito? You know any news about him? And she goes, no, I got to talk to your husband. I said, but what about, what do you have to talk to him? I'm the mother here. So I was frustrated. I was also mad at her, but also quite nervous. I couldn't explain those mixed feelings that I had. So I remember handing him my cell phone, and he took the phone, and remember she instructed him to go out. So he did what she instructed him to do. And outside, it took a couple of seconds. I remember him a loud shout, and he said, no, this can't be happening. And as soon as I heard him, I was frozen right where I was standing. And when he came in, I just remember he grabbed me by the shoulders, and he said, Diane, he looked in my eyes. I saw his eyes all watered and tears. And he says, Diane, we lost him. All I could remember was I pushed him away, and I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean we lost him? And he said, yes, we lost him. He was in a terrible accident. He couldn't make it. All I could remember that there was an instant. I remember I pushed him back. I hit him, and I started screaming. I said, no. I was in total denial. All I could remember was the house was filled with all my neighbors and friends that heard all about it. And I could recall after that, people were talking about it, and people from all over. It was already in different parts, in Facebook and everywhere. And the news, it went it spread quickly, very fast. So this was not easy for me. I remember being in denial. I remember just bits, pieces, what happened that night. I remember that during that week, I had to fly to Florida with my daughter, my husband, and there was a lot of things going on that week, and it was quite difficult. That's why I understand how you're feeling, how difficult it is for you to go through all this process. What I found out later on, it was that he was on a terrible accident. He fell asleep. He went to eat at a restaurant, and after that, he went home, and he fell asleep on a red light. Getting to a red light. And he was hit by a trailer. So it was devastating. All I know that I couldn't see him afterwards when I went there to Florida because he was all messed up, his face and everything, and I was advised not to see him. What I've learned from this was that I was like almost every one of you. I was grieving terribly. I was totally in denial. And sometimes when I see a crowd of people, I saw somebody that looked just like him, and I thought that was him, and I just want to run after him. So I was a mess. I had to go to, my husband advised me to go to a psychologist, which I went. It helped me a lot. And there I learned that there's stages of grief. And I just want to come and tell you that I want you to go through these stages of grief, which I'm going to explain right now. First of all, number one is denial. At first, when you learn about your loss, just as it happened to me, I just didn't want to believe it. I just looked at the person and says, no, you're just lying. Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's at the hospital. No, but he's not dead. So this isn't happening. You may feel shock and numb. That's normal. You're living the worst of nightmares. And because you learn, like, it's normal, like if your grandparents passed away, an aunt or an uncle, but you never in your wildest dream think that you can lose a child. I mean, never, ever. When a parent has a child, it's that you're going to see that person grow. You're going to see them having grandchildren and having their life, living their life the fullest. The second one is anger. Okay? As the reality sets in, you're faced with your pain and the loss. You may feel frustrated. Okay? This is normal. This is totally normal. And hopeless. These feelings later turn into anger. You might direct it towards other people. In my case, he was dining with his friends. So when I was in this stage, well, I was mad at them, just thinking like, hey, it's their fault. They let him go. But then afterwards, I learned otherwise. Okay? And you can get mad at God, for example. Many people have been telling me that they got mad with their higher power. Even towards your son, himself, or your daughter, just leaving you alone. Okay, this is totally normal in this sense of being in anger. Okay, when you're angry, this is totally normal. Okay, the second stage of grief is bargaining. This I could remember quite well. During this phase, you dwell on what you could have done to prevent the loss. Common thoughts as if only, what if? In my case, many times I would say, if only I didn't let him go in that January 2018 when he came to visit me. If only I could stop him from getting into that plane, because I remember I was the last person that he hugged and kissed before he went to the plane and went back home. If only, this is totally normal, okay, in this process, in this stage particularly. And you just want to avoid that terrible end. The fourth stage in the grieving process is depression. In this stage, you're overcome with sadness as it sets in, and you begin to understand the loss and the effect that this loss has in you. Signs of depression includes, crying. You can cry every second of the day. You can probably listen to a song that remembers about when he was there. You can see like a picture, portraits that you have of him, family albums. So it's normal. You can cry probably every second of the day. This is normal too. Sleep issues. People don't sleep, many of them. Just they wake up during the night thinking about, if he was alive, what would happen? If I can see him again. This is all normal, okay? And decrease in appetite. This happened to me too. I lost a lot of weight. Many of you have lost weight too. This is normal in this process, okay? Be kind to yourself. You may feel overwhelmed with regretful and loneliness. And number 5, this is the last stage of the grief process, is acceptance. This is the final stage of grief. You accept the reality of your loss. It can't be changed, although you still feel sad, and you're able to start moving towards your life. Every person goes through, that's what I advise you to do, to all these stages of grief. It's very important that you do it. Try not to skip any of them, because then you will have to go back. What I'm telling you is, if you want to live a healthy and happy life, it's important that you seek help, a mental health specialist, okay? And after you continue with this grief process, it's very important that you go through all the stages of grief, so you can feel, you can get your life back. Probably not totally. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to feel happy, and if you're working, you go back to your job that you had before this. I know that when you go through this process and these phases, there's like anniversaries, like his birthday, like Christmas, and those different dates that you remember your child with you. This is totally normal. But after these stages, and when you feel a lot better, what I advise you to do is try to start eating healthy, okay? It's important. And it's also important to do exercises. And, you know, it's like take baby steps, okay? Just don't try to do everything just all in one day. I mean, it's impossible. But just take little baby steps. It's good for you. Another thing is, like, take a walk in nature, okay? Hug a tree. Look at all the birds around. It makes you happy, okay? Return to your hobbies, things that you used to do before your loss. Try to regain your life little by little. It's going to help you, okay? And there's, I recommend also, like, books that I used to read, because I'm an avid reader. I'm a retired librarian, and reading helped me a lot. And there's some books that I have here that I would recommend that you can read, and I know it could help you a lot. Like, it helped me. One of the books that, there's another thing. Join a support group. That's very important. Okay? It can help you, because when you meet other people that has gone through the same loss that you have gone through, well, it's good to listen to other people tell their stories, okay? And then you can feel that you're not alone in this, that you're not the only person who has lost a loved one, okay? And you can learn how the others could overcome their loss, and it helps you. It's healthy, okay? Like I was saying, one of the books that I can recommend, it's number 1, Embraced by the Light. This is by Betty Eady. This is a wonderful book. Try to get this book. Number 2, Through Time into Healing by Dr. Brian Weiss. He is a psychiatrist, and one of the best in the U.S. So he has written a couple of books on this subject, which I recommend. There's another one, which is Life After Life by Dr. Raymond Moody. Another excellent material. And the last one, which one of the authors, it's Healing Grief and Reclaiming Life After Any Loss by James Van Praagh. As another thing, I had wonderful dreams with my son. People asked me, and I told them some of my dreams. And people have asked me, how could you had those dreams? Well, I told them that first of all, I asked my son, one of those days that I was cleaning the house, I told him, listen, Juan Diego, I would love to dream. I'd love to see you again. And I guess about 7 months after that conversation, I just have these couple of conversations with him. He came to me in a wonderful dream, and he told me, Mom, I'm doing great. I'm in heaven, and I'm very happy. And I remember he took me there. It was like, it was a wonderful dream. I just saw, like, it was like small little classrooms, per se, I would say. And he showed me that there was like little babies. And then there was like toddlers and young children who had passed away, then the young adults. And then he told me that each and every one of us has a guardian angel. And they're helping him, telling him like he had like a life story that they passed away, that he could see. And that he saw all the things that he did good and or bad when he in his lifetime. So he told me, Mom, I'm very happy. I'm having a wonderful time here. So don't be sad for me anymore. And then after that, I had a couple of dreams afterward, but they were all good dreams. So if any of you want to have a dream with your son or daughter who passed away, ask him. And it will come. Probably not suddenly as like tomorrow, next week, but it would come. Just be calm. It will come. Well, I'm so very happy that you tune in to my video today. I'm just here just to help you and tell you my experience, how it helped me, and the things that I did. And after 3 years that my son passed away, I feel at peace right now. I have reclaimed my life. I feel like more motivated to help others. That's why I'm doing this video. If you have a family member who speaks Spanish, I did this video in Spanish a week ago, and you can find it in the description box below. That's if you have a family member or friends who speak Spanish and need help. Also, I would just love if you would just give a like on this video and you would share it to others. And you can comment also and give me like your experience, what you're going through, and how you're dealing with your process of grief. I would thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for watching this video. And I wish you the best of happiness and have faith in yourself. You will overcome this. You will do this. Just be positive and wake up every day with positive affirmations that your loved one is happy and wants to see you happy. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.